Welcome all to today's class. Today we are going to cover the topics habitat and niche in ecosystems. Habitat is a set of the place of environmental conditions in which particular organism lives and adapt to the such situation accordingly. A niche is nothing but an idea or role played by organisms that how they can live in an environment including their diet shelter. Mainly niche is concerned with the factor of gaining energy by organisms and supplying it to other in the ecosystem. A habitat defines the interaction of organisms with the other factors, which can be living or non living, while niche describes how that specific organism is linked with its physical and biological environment. Habitat is the part of the ecosystem, while niche plays an important role in the formation of an ecosystem. Both these words describe the living habits of the organisms of all kinds of species, how they interact with each other, what do they eat, and where they live. Each organism plays their particular role in its ecosystem and also have their own defined niche in the ecosystem. Coming to in detail about definition of habitat, it is a place or area where a particular species lives in its habitat. A habitat is a part and is considered as the real place of an ecosystem. Factors like the sunlight, average rainfall, annual temperatures, a type of soil which are present, and other abiotic factors affect these organisms and traits in the environment. These factors help in determining the presence of a particular type of species which are suited in that environment. As we can say that habitat is a nutrient or energy providing area for all type of organisms and species. Irrespective to the species, the energy is provided to all type of these organisms. And habitat defines as a field where all living organisms live in the natural environment and reflect their way of living. So for example, pond, river, ocean is the best example of habitat where many organisms are found in the same place or habitat. These habitats can be arboreal, terrestrial, aerial, aquatic. So these are the some of the examples which we can clearly observe various kinds of species which are living together in the same place, but their habitats are different. Some may live on terrestrial land, or some are aquatic, or some are arboreal. Coming to the definition of niche, the term niche was first used by Grinnell in 1971. The term ecological niche is not well understood, but it's sometimes even misused by our ecologists. Niche is nothing but an idea of the distributional unit where organisms are kept within their constitutional foundations. Niche can be further described as appearance and post of a species in the environment. Like what they do for their survival, how they fulfill their needs of shelter, food. So it is used to describe as where an organism lives. In short, we can say that niche is not a place, but it is an ideology which describes the organism's tolerance and requirements. A niche is thus defined by n variables like n and its limitations of all important features around which individuals of a species can survive, grow and reproduce. Factors like the functional role of a species where it is living in the community, that is trophic level, and secondary other conditions like pH, soil, temperature, moisture, climate also define the niche of an organism with biotic as well as abiotic factors. Biotic factors include living organisms and also non-living or things. So already I said above, niche deals with the flow of energy that passes from one organism to another. Of course, they interact with other organisms in the particular area. As soon as the niche is left vacant, other organisms can fill that positions. The niche should be specific to each species, which means no two species can share the same niche. Here note down the point, no two species can share the same niche. If the species creates its own unique niche in an ecosystem, it would be helpful in reducing competition for resources among other species. If we take an example of bird, it can be understood that how these birds differ in their eating habits, where some birds eat only insects, some feed on only fruits, some can eat anything they come across. So this is an best example. So here these birds they can share the same habitat, but they differ in their niches because of different eating habits. So here three types of niches are found: generally spatial or habitat niche, which it deals with the physical space occupied by the organisms, and the other one we niche we observe is a trophic niche. It is particularly based on food level of an organization. And the third type is in multidimensional or hyper volume niche. It explains as fundamental and realized niches. So this is all about the habitat and niche. So I want to tell you about the basic comparison about the habitat and niche. So basically habitat consists of numerous niches. Habitat consists of numerous niches, while niche does not contain such components. So it includes effect of temperature, rainfall and other abiotic factors. So best examples for the habitats is the deserts, oceans, forests, rivers, mountains are the best example. Coming to the and the habitat supports numerous species at a time. At a time it can supports a numerous species, and habitat is a physical place and it is not species specific, right? Whereas coming to the niche, does not contains components. Its flow of energy from one organism to other through an ecosystem. It is a part of habitat only, where it defines the shelter for living being, and niche supports a single species at a time, and it is in species specific. So well, here some of the examples you can observe on the screen. So here where you can observe, coming to the habitat, habitat is an area where numerous organisms can live. So these may be, the habitat size may be very small. So here you can observe the example that is in barnacle. So barnacle's habitat is very tiny place which they live on a rock shell or boat. That means it is attached to a particular rock or shell. Rock or shell is next. Coming to this some habitats are very large. Maybe polar habitat covers the annual sea and they can be found 200 miles offshore, right? That means some of the habitat sizes are very large and some are small. So you can clearly see the on the screen. You can clearly observe this diagrammatic representation. And next, coming to the niche, already I told you a niche is an organism's role. That means we can simply say that niche is a job of an species. It includes what it eats, where it lives, and what it does. Niche defines that. So here the examples of an example you can observe is in beaver. So here, what is the niche of the beaver? So particularly in the ecosystem, beavers niche is, what is the niche of an, or what is the job, or what is the where it lives. So generally it cut of course we can see it shows the aquatic habitat, or semi partially they live on the land. So cutting down trees, building a dam to the flood an area and make a pond, building a lodge to live in, raising a family of beavers, chewing bark and wood. These are the specifications of an beaver. So coming to this, no two species can occupy this exact same niche, because no two species do the exact same thing. So here you can clearly observe in this diagram, this we can observe this butterfly. Butterfly lives, they fly on the leaves, right? So, and you can see some centipedes or millipedes, they live on the logs of the trees or bark of the trees. So this is an best examples. And some of these arthropodans, they live on the leaves or the stems. These are the niches are different. Of course, if we take a tree an example, so some they live on the leaves and some they live on the barks of the trees or underground on some of the species they live on the underground area. So this is the specification, so this is the niche. But the organisms live in the same habitat. Tree is said to be as an habitat. So the area which they are living, it comes under a niches. So some they depend on the leaves and some they live on the bark and some they live on the roots. So these are the specifications we observe. This is then all about the niches. So coming to this other part, so some of these organisms which they lives on the particular area, they can be vanish after some time and the niche is uh, covered with an another species. So these are the other examples. Red-tailed hawk and barred owl are the uh, prey, and they live in forests on the edge of fields. They eat mice and other rodents. So they nest in trees. So some specifications are similar. They nest in trees, but they eat mice and other rodents. They live in forests on the edge of fields. So but their niches may be different, but they share the same habitat. So this is all about the habitat and niche. Thank you.